And I'm live. Hi everyone. Waiting for you all to join in. Hi, it's been so long since I've met all of you. Hope you're all doing well. You're safe from, everything going around right now with, the Omicron. Hope a lot of your children are going back to school. It feels really nice to see all of you today. And I'm going to do a live very soon where I can just chat with all of you today. Of course, we have a session in mind. We have a guest speaker who I'm going to, add very soon. But, at some point I do want to chat with all of you all. Oh, somebody says they're not doing well. Well, I hope you cheer up soon. I'm glad to see all of you as well. Oh, people are down with COVID. How was the day? My day was good. As all of you know, there's so much going on my plate right now, which I try to keep sharing with you. First of all, creating content that is useful for all of you. And then my kids are in the middle of session right now, so they're at home. And of course, I've launched my whole Brainy Bear line with the early subscription boxes, and we're adding a whole lot of new products. A lot of you message me saying, ma'am, why only 0 to 2? So we're going to do something all the way to, older children. So a lot of things, literally juggling a lot of things. Now, I love you all too. Thank you. And so nice of you for, being with me on my entire journey. But today, guys, we're going to do something really fun. I'm going to invite... Oh, okay, let me see. I'm going to... Yes. All right. Hi, Eshleen.
Hello, Dr. Pallavi. Thank you for having me.
Most welcome. Guys, we have Eshleen Jolly with us, and today we're going to do a very special, interesting session. This is something I've been looking forward to because I have so many questions of myself.
Yes.
And of course, on the AMA yesterday, I asked you to share your questions, so I have a whole list of questions. But before that, let me introduce our guest speaker today. This is Eshleen Jolly. She's a multilingual instructor who's the founder of Learning Lingos, and she believes in early language exposure. And that's such a beautiful belief system to have, because I also believe that, in the early years, when you're kids, you can really pick up a lot of languages. So, I actually can speak 5 languages. So apart from English, I can speak Hindi, Telugu, Kannada, a little bit of Tamil. I can understand few other Indian languages, but I always repent that I never learned a foreign language. And, now I feel, oh, you know what, I can get by with English. But I think today times are different. The exposure that children in our country have is very different. So, just to set the context for today's session, on the one hand, if you look at your new education policy, if you look at what's happening in India, there's a promotion of Indian languages, right? So learn in your mother tongue. There is no second, third language. So you get your English, Hindi, and your mother tongue. But as you go into higher classes, there are options of foreign languages. And today, with the number of students we see going out of India, right from grade 10, I think, foreign languages, I get a lot of questions saying, ma'am, do you know any good instructor in Mandarin, or do you know good instructors in Spanish? And, I'm always like, I'll let you guys know if I come across anyone. So I think, I'm looking forward to this session as a one-stop for foreign language information that parents on the GSP family would like to have. Eshleen, first of all, a very warm welcome to Get Set Parent with Pallavi. We have a beautiful family of parents here who are so committed and involved with their children. So first of all, a very warm welcome. And how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. I'm really excited for this live today. And I can definitely see your community and see how people, I'm reading the comments as we're speaking, how much they adore you. So I'm very happy and honored to be here with you today.
Thank you, Eshleen. So we'll we've set the context of languages, and in all kinds of learning development theories, we always talk about how the brain is like a sponge, and children have the capability to absorb a variety of information much faster than even how we can absorb it. So I straight away want to start off with children who are studying in India today, kids who are growing up in Indian schools, right? ICSE schools, CBSE schools, state boards. Do you see the need of picking up a foreign language during the early years, primary, middle school years? And why do you think it's important?
Okay, so, a number of things. Technology has brought the world so much closer, right? We have social media. Traveling has gone up, insanely. And after COVID, it's even more. Now I can sit here in India and apply for a job in Germany, right? So, and that's just going to happen. That's just going to keep happening, right? We're going to evolve as a community. Work from home is happening. We're, crossing, we're literally crossing countries, sitting at home.
Right.
So, I know that during COVID, it's funny because I made so many friends via online, via
True.
Zoom, right? I've made friends, the parents of my students, or even a few random friends that I met on social media, and they've really become cool friends. I cannot wait for them to come to Delhi. So the world is just going to keep getting smaller, right? So why not give your child the skills to actually go ahead and take advantage of those opportunities, right? Traveling has gone up so much. So when you go and travel with your child, or when your child grows up, familiarize them with all of those things, right? It's so much easier for them to learn as a child than it is when they grow up. And you yourself, Dr. Pallavi, told me that you know almost 5 languages. So how effortless was it for you to learn that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I lived in a community where it was spoken, right? So for example, I had to speak to my grandmother in a different language. I had to speak to, the vegetable vendor in a different language. Right. So, by speaking to these, it was very natural. It wasn't, an effort that I had to make. It was everybody, living down south typically starts speaking multiple languages. So, but, sorry.
I was going to say exactly what you said, that it was effortless is my motto, and is the motto of Learning Lingos. The more effortless you take this journey, the better it is. So when you think of a foreign language, when a parent thinks about starting their child on a foreign language, one of the questions is, wait, I don't know the foreign language. So how can I teach my child? And I always say, firstly, do not set aside 45 minutes a day or half an hour to teach your child a foreign language. That is not needed. The point is to make it effortless. So as a company, or as Learning Lingos, we help the child through the whole journey. So if you sign up, for example, and not to say you have to sign up with us, but just for any language, this support will come from that institute. That support will come for you to use those words throughout the day. For example, if your child is eating something, and you know how to say, do you like this? Right? So use it then, te gusta. And the best thing that children love is when they know something that you don't know. So believe you and me, I have seen children pick up so beautifully just because they get excited to go and tell their parents and teach them Spanish or French because they don't know it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think, kids love to show that, you don't know, I'll teach you, and that gives them a little bit of that kick as well. But, going a little back, Eshleen, my question really is, how young is the right time for children to learn a foreign language? Because the typical concern, I'll tell you, I find this coming in on my handles a lot, that, should I teach even English is an effort for a lot of parents in our country, because they say, look, we are focusing on our mother tongue. How do we get them to learn English? So when a second language is becoming difficult, and vice versa, a lot of families, Cosmo, metropolitan families say, look, we're only doing English. How do we make the effort to add the mother tongue? So now with two languages, at the bare minimum already in play, do you think a foreign language where they don't really have the ecosystem to speak with is needed? And is it too difficult, say, under the ages of 7 to introduce a language which is foreign to the family and the parents?
So it is scientifically proven that below the age of 10, a child can
Yeah.
pick up as many languages as they would like. Okay,
Okay.
the difficulty comes when they're older because they can compare English with the language. Even as an adult, when I'm learning a foreign language, I will always compare. We teach adults as well, and we see that adults are always like, but you say this in English, but this is like this in English. So how is it?
Yeah, the
We
grammar
always
change.
the grammar rules
Yeah.
change. But imagine
Yeah.
teaching a fresh canvas, right?
Yeah.
It's literally like teaching, and like you said, children are extreme. I think we underestimate them. Okay, the
Mm.
younger they are, like you said, they are sponges, right? So the
Yes.
fact that they don't know one language, that is actually even better because they're not stuck to one language. They're not stuck to
Right.
one structure.
Right, right. But is that okay that they don't have a community to practice it with? For example, like you just mentioned, their parents don't know the language, and typically in your city you don't have enough people speaking Spanish or Mandarin or French or any of these languages. So, like, how would you do it at Learning Lingos? Do you provide a ecosystem for children to chat? I mean,
Yeah, so very good question. In fact, that's one of the concerns that we try and comfort our parents in saying, and it's worked wonderfully. We have 450 students enrolled with us currently, and they're really enjoying the classes. So it really depends on the institute that you are signing up your child with and how much support they give you. For example, we will send
okay,
an audio clip with the words that they've learned so that you can revise with the child, right? We also send flashcards like these. So we have flashcards, we have workbooks where children can really learn, learn through the week or kind of
okay,
practice what they've already learned. But another thing that we use in our syllabus, and I've designed the syllabus myself, so I can say we use a lot of repetition. The beauty of this is since they don't have a community, there we will teach one thing in 4 different ways. Let's say I'm teaching you animals today. I will teach you animals through a presentation. I'll teach you animals through a song. Then I'll teach you animals through the game. So
okay.
the retaining and the repetition is there. And of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
I always tell parents that once you start a language, it's a journey. It's not a workshop. It's not something that you can just you
Right.
should dive in and dive out with. It's a journey. But having said that, it's not a compulsion that you need to devote so much time. I think the more effortless we make it, the better it is. Also in our community, if we talk about the Indian community, many parents don't realize this, but their children are already bilingual and trilingual children,
Yes.
right? But we
Yes.
just don't think of it that way. So
Yeah.
you and I, for example, we will speak in English to our children, but then our children have their grandparents at home that they maybe speak in
Yeah.
Hindi with or Punjabi with, and then they have a house help who's maybe speaking in Nepali. Have you noticed that they are able to communicate with all 3 people effectively?
And just to add on, Ishleen, this is when it comes to conversation. But when it comes to songs, I mean the languages multiply. I
Yes.
mean, I heard my 9-year-old. She's singing K-pop songs. I don't even know how she does it, and she picks up Punjabi songs which are all over, of course.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
so and they do it so instinctively, and you're like, how are you doing this? I don't even understand how
Yes.
I don't even understand the lyrics.
Exactly. That's exactly. And even so, another thing is Dr. Pallavi, if I may ask you, when you were young, and
Yeah.
or younger, not to say that you're not young, but when you were younger or when you were a child, those songs that maybe your parents heard, or those old, do they can you, if I play it right now, you haven't heard it in 10 years, but if I play it right now, I bet you will know every word of that song.
True. I mean, I
Okay.
think it's very deep wired,
Right,
hardwired.
right. And
Yeah.
but today, if I play a new song for in front of you, maybe you'll enjoy it, you'll dance to it, but you won't remember it
Hmm.
unless you hear it a lot of times. Not to say that
Yeah.
there's an age to learning, but that one, when you were young, you will remember it. So it's the same thing for a language. It's not like your
Right.
child has to speak it for 5 years. 1 year, if your child has learned the language, when they grow up and they hear it again, they remember, they familiarize themselves with the
So,
language.
so here's my question. Suppose I have a 5 to 10 year old child at home, and we go through a language learning of a foreign language for about what typically how long do you need to learn a language? Of course, there's practice later, but how long are the courses typically?
So we offer 3-month courses each
Okay.
level. So the first level,
Okay.
for example, that we offer would be your vocabulary.
I
And
see.
once parents see that, okay, definitely my child has learned the numbers, the colors, the animals, my child knows how to ask me for something in that foreign
Yeah.
language, then usually they'll sign up for the next level. So there are many levels, and it's
I
how
see.
long you want to do it for. Yeah.
So suppose, a child has, 2 or 3 levels of 3 months each in this younger age group, right? 5 to 10 or 5 to 12 per se. And then they actually need the language only when they go into university much later on. And they don't practice in between because they have nobody to speak it with. Do you think it comes back and they're able to, adjust more easily to the environment then?
So, Dr. Pallavi, that's why I asked you that deep-rooted
Yeah.
song, because it does
Yeah.
come back. You know,
Okay.
it does. 100% it comes back. I mean, in fact, it makes so a lot of schools now have made a foreign language um, compulsory. So either you have to
Compulsory.
pick
Yeah.
Spanish or French. And most of
Yeah.
my students' parents are already preparing them for that, right?
True.
So
True.
I have 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, and 7-year-olds whose parents say, in 4 or 5 years, they'll have to take this foreign language. So let me start them now so that I don't have to worry about it later on. And
Right.
and
Right.
best believe it that yes, 100%, that definitely makes a very big difference.
Right. So, so the question then for a parent to decide next is, you're convinced, okay, foreign languages, some language has to be picked up. How do we know what language to choose? Because, what if my child grows up and decides to go to Germany? Then French is not that useful or Mandarin is not that useful. But today I don't know which country or what kind of
Yes.
profession or what kind of, learning future my child will have. So how does a parent really go about picking a language?
Okay. So many parents they have a little bit of a clue. Okay, I want my child to do this, or they'll go with the what the world is going for right now. 5 years
Okay.
ago it was French. Now it's
Yeah.
Spanish. We don't know what it's going to be 10 years down the line, right?
Is there a shift from French to Spanish now?
Yes, yes, definitely. So
Oh,
my recommendation is always that the language is not only giving you the skills to learn learn language. There are so many more benefits for that, and it is scientifically proven as well that when you pick up one foreign language, the rule applies, and it's so much easier to pick up the other ones. You won't
okay.
believe
Okay.
how many students of ours, after 9 months of doing Spanish, sign up for French also.
I see. Okay.
Because,
Well, actually, this sounds very much like musical instruments. You typically see
yes,
somebody plays the keyboard, picks up a guitar, and is also, fiddling with percussion instruments. I think the wiring is such, when it comes to learning absorption, that a
yes.
family of languages or a family of instruments, yes, I mean, I can draw a parallel, I guess.
Yeah, so it's the structure is the same. You know, the
Yeah.
rules and how to apply them. It's like mathematics. Okay, think about this. You know, we used calculus when we were in school. We used algebra, right? We used these theories. You know,
Yes.
all the calculations and formulas we used back then. And I remember, because I hated math, I remember saying, when am I ever going to use this in my life? Right? When
Yes.
I'm older, I'm not going to need calculus. I'm not going to need to know this theory that a plus 2a, blah, blah, blah. It was a exercise for my brain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And maybe that made many other things easier for me. So for a foreign language, it's more tangible though, because you can speak it. You will remember it when you grow up, but it's also
Mm.
exercising your brain and helping you. So it is also, you know, there's a lot of studies that have shown that children who learn a foreign language, they're excellent multitaskers.
Mm.
Okay, they're very empathetic to different cultures and people, and they're very sociable. It builds a lot of confidence, because
Confidence.
suddenly you feel that you know something that 10 people in front of you don't know.
Yeah.
And it builds
Yeah.
curiosity. It builds this curiosity in you to connect with other people. It literally opens your horizons, and we have seen that with the children who have first come into our program, and we've seen them, you know, the difference when they leave. um,
Right.
we see that, you know, they're like confident. They want to show off that they know something, especially to the parents, because it's one thing they have over their parents.
Yeah.
The foreign language.
Absolutely. I think, you know, today my sister and I talk in Telugu, and you know, you know, a little bit of an advanced Telugu, and my kids are like, you know, what's going on? So, you know, you've got that little bit of a secret language going on at home, and you know, that's such an edge. And I'm sure today kids do want that, you know, that extra little bit of
Yes.
communication apart from just English. Right, right. So, so you mentioned that 3 months would be the minimum to start learning?
We like to keep it 3 months. It's twice a week, 30-minute sessions. It's basically 1 hour split into two, because we want to spread it through the week, have that repetition going. And also, we want our classes, we want it to be effortless. We want them to enjoy it. So at that age, a 30-minute session is much more exciting than a 1 hour session, right?
Right,
And
right, right.
right, so that's how and yes, in the 3 months it gives them time to learn, and it gives the repetition. It's enough repetition for those topics for them to carry it on in the future. So three
Okay,
months is
okay,
ideal. Or in fact, it's a 10-week program, so it's a total of 20 sessions. And
okay.
you know, we do an evaluation at the end of the course, so that the parents can see themselves how much the child has learned.
All right. So, Ishleen, tell me, do we have good instructors of these languages at
Absolutely.
you know, Learning Lingo? Where do you get your instructors from, and how
Yes,
does
so
it? What's the authenticity of the, you know, learning
sure.
program?
Sure.
Yeah,
So I'll just give you a 1 second quick the way I am the founder, like you said, of Learning Lingos, and the way we started this is I myself I'm Indian, but I was born and raised in the United States. So I had Indian parents. I had a nanny who spoke Spanish, and in school we only spoke English,
yeah.
right? And that was how I picked up Spanish so well that I don't remember picking up a pen ever in my life to write. Okay, so so and I remember those incidents, and I remember how effortless it was for me. So when I came here, I started learning Lingos, and I have built the course myself. So the training of the teachers, the finding of the teachers is all done by me. Our teachers are native teachers and certified teachers, and the reason why we like to use native teachers is because people don't realize that even when you learn a language, the accent is equally important as learning a language. So today, if
Right.
I am speaking English, or I'm learning English, or if I'm learning German from another, you know, native teacher, then my accent is not correct, and I may be misunderstood, right? So the accent and the culture is equally important. So we do a lot of culture also in our classes, and we learn some, songs and some salsa we'll add, or we'll add in a recipe of something. Or our teachers, and when we do the evaluations with our students, they say the word correctly with the proper accent, which is very, very important in picking up a
Yes.
language.
Yes. Yeah, pronunciation. I mean, I'm very particular about English pronunciation. In fact,
Correct.
every Friday I have a Get It Right series because there's so many words, and it's not about, I get some of these questions, मतलब पहले हिंदी बोलना सीखो, अंग्रेजी के पीछे क्यों? The point is not that. The point is when you are speaking English, you may as well speak it right.
Correct.
Right? So,
Correct.
instead of speaking it, of course, we have, we go out anywhere, everybody knows that, there's an Indian tonality to it, or there's a,
Yes.
you do make out there's a British accent to the English
Yes.
or an American accent, which is fine. So, this is not, it's not as much about accent. Maybe it is more about the correct pronunciation as well, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So great. So I see a lot of questions coming in. So guys, my audience, please put in your questions because as I'll keep. Oh, I see some lovely comments here, Eshleen,
Yes.
saying it's a
I just
fab
saw that. Thank you,
experience,
Tanvi. Yes.
fab experience, and a lot of people saying it's been wonderful at learning Lingos. Learning lingo, sorry. Yeah. So, yeah, I see questions coming in. Please feel free. Okay, so which language should we start with when it comes to foreign languages? How do you answer that?
All right. So, which language do we start with? A lot of parents are clear on what language they want to do. If you are
Okay.
not clear with the language
Yeah.
that you want to do not worry. At that such a young age, why don't you experiment? I always tell them the language doesn't matter. The technique of picking up a language is what we're teaching them. But if you're
Okay.
still if you really want to kind of get that down, play a French video, play a Spanish video, and see what your child enjoys more. I've done that with a lot of parents, and I always recommend do what your child wants. They'll do it more passionately. Do not force them to do a language they don't want to do. Children really do, say, Mom, I want to learn French. I don't like Spanish so much. Please go ahead and do it. You'll see the benefits come in later.
Okay. Okay. Another question is it only for children or can college students, adults, parents also join?
Absolutely. We have adult sessions as well. They're on the weekends to suit our schedules. In the mornings, done by certified teachers who've done the DELF and the DELE exam. So DELF is the certified exam, and DELE is also for French and Spanish. So yes, absolutely. We do have classes for adults and college-going children as well. Yes, students.
Typically, how many classes per week would there be?
For adults? Or
for adults or kids? Maybe
for
both.
children, we like to keep it twice a week for that repetition. So we'll do either a Monday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday to spread it out nicely. For adults, we like to do again twice a week. So on the weekends, it would be Saturday, Sunday, 1.5 hours each. The first course is called A1.1. That's a 50-hour course. We'll give you an exam after that as well. After that course, you can get certified and you can go take the DELF exam as well. So that typically lasts about 14 weekends or 14 to 15 weekends.
15 weekends.
Yes.
Okay. What is the youngest age at which kids can join?
We just started a mom taught program, and we have about 56 enrollments in that, and they're loving it completely. So it's a way for the child and the mother to bond. A question in that as well is that, my child is just 18 months. How can he sit in front of a screen? But what's happening and what we're noticing in this program as well is that parents are actually learning how to teach their child. And that's the beauty of it. So we have a lot of children who are just a few months who've actually said their first word in Spanish or in French. Yeah.
Okay. So there's no such thing as too early.
The earlier you start, the better it is.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm going to, also tag Learning Lego. I've started following them. They're following us. So, feel free to visit their handle and, put in questions. Maybe in summer you can have a summer program as well for the summer holidays.
Absolutely.
That would
Yes.
be interesting for children as well. I see a lot of questions about Arabic. So, what languages do you cater to?
At the moment, we cater to Spanish, French, and Mandarin. So these are the three languages we have started with. But yes, our goal is definitely to kind of cover all the languages that we can under our company, under Learning Lingos.
All right. All right. So wonderful. Guys, any more questions that you all have? Or anything you would like to add, Ishleen?
I think somebody said, please answer my question, but we don't see the question. I would love to answer it, but if you
Well,
can
there's
just.
one which I see. Is there anything easy or difficult to begin with?
Yes, in terms of language, yes. So we have seen that Spanish and French are fairly easier. Mandarin is a bit more difficult because the alphabet is completely different.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you the easy thing about Spanish and French. Or let's start with Spanish. So with Spanish, whatever you see is what you get. So the alphabet is very similar to English. You can read it.
Uh-huh.
If I put a word in front of you right now, you'll read it. I may just have to correct your pronunciation. That's all. In French, as many people know, the letters they don't mean anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to kind of learn the rules and connect the dots, but still it's fairly easy because the alphabets look the same as English alphabets. Now in Mandarin, we never start with alphabets for French and Spanish. We start with speaking, but in Mandarin, we start with the
Now,
alphabets.
okay. Okay.
Yes,
Do you see a demand for Mandarin increasing in India?
absolutely, 100%.
I had 3 or 4 people coming to me about Mandarin courses for, slightly older children.
So, and the funny thing is, whoever signs up for Mandarin are very clear that they want Mandarin, and they just dive in.
Yeah.
So they know, they
Yeah.
researched about it. They know, like, I want my child to learn Mandarin. They're ready for that, and that's the Mandarin kind of journey.
Right, right. Please ask my question. How can we indulge a child after completion of the course so that they can stay connected to it in future?
So, like I mentioned, the great part is that they will be familiar with it when they hear it in the future. And a lot of our parents, what they do is they like to play the songs. Like, when you're going in the car, play the song we play. We share everything that we do in the class, we share with you. We give you material, we give you all of those things that are yours to keep, and you can keep practicing with them, watch videos, watch shows, kind of travel to that place. And not that you have to go to that place, but I think the more
Yeah.
exposure you give them, the better it is for them to learn.
Okay, okay. I see a question about English. So English, maybe I'll take. Guys, English, I get flooded on my handle about English. English, if you want to speak, just start speaking because trust me, all of you know enough English. Everybody in India has enough English knowledge, base knowledge. It's just the confidence building. Speak to anybody around you. Start watching the news. And I think this works for all languages. So if you're learning
Yes.
French, watch French movies, listen to French songs. So, similarly for English, listen to, the way your, your journalists, the news readers speak, or anybody who you admire who speaks well, and read, watch movies, and then, just start. Don't think too much. I think that's the first step when it comes to English.
I think that's the same for any language. If you learn a sentence, the hesitation comes when you have to speak it. It's a bit intimidating for anyone because they don't know if they're speaking it correctly or not. But even in our program, we always tell them, even if you say it wrong, just say it.
Say it. Yeah.
You won't be able to correct yourself unless we don't know what you're saying.
Right, right, right. No, this is, Eshleen, you have tempted me now. I feel like learning a foreign language, taking
Please.
out a couple of months and doing it on the side.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, our schedule fits the weekend morning right for, you don't have to have it in the weekdays. You don't have to rush or anything like that. It's all online. So we would love to have you on board. We're starting a session, in fact, this weekend for French and Spanish. So yeah,
Maybe
and
we can do the mother toddler French program or something like
absolutely,
that. We can explore.
absolutely.
No, but this is very, very interesting, because, whether it's an art form, whether it's a language, I do think that, as a personality evolves with culture and exposure, and
Right.
I mean, there's a beauty to expanding. Whether you read books, whether you pick up languages, whether you learn art, whether you learn music, or you
Right.
just listen to performances. I think all of these grow you in ways beyond, your academics.
Exactly, exactly.
Lovely. So, guys, I'm going to, tag Eshleen and Learning Lingos. So please feel free to visit their page, explore, ask questions on, how many are your duration fees, all of that. I'm sure you can message DM Learning Lingos and they'll get back to you. I'm going to tag them. And Eshleen, this has been an eye opener. Thank you so much for this wonderful session and joining us on our platform.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And it was wonderful talking to you guys.
Same here. Same here. So
Thank
keep
you.
in touch. We'll talk
Yes.
soon again.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Pallavi. Take
Bye,
care.
Eshleen.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye.